Hello, welcome back everybody. Let's have a look at some of these coins then, shall we? So we'll have a look at Bitcoin first and we'll move on to Matic because that's pretty much how we roll on this channel. So first of all, a clear rejection from the top of this itchy cloud, and if you go to the daily, what we see is a clear rejection from the top of this itchy cloud. So basically there's rejections taking place, and they're pretty significant, tasty rejections. It would appear to me, if you watched my video yesterday, that Bitcoin's been traded as a commodity. It could have quite easily made its way up here and naturally, but on a slower time frame, but because it was finding those pumps with the commodities like oil and gold, and because of that whole Iran business, it basically overstretched itself, and now we're finding ourselves a bit of consolidation from that. Now, so long as we can hold above this level here, this 7,750 or thereabouts, if we can hold above there, then there is hope that we'll still have continuation of this. And as the days progress over the next couple of weeks, if we can reaccumulate around this area, then I would not be surprised if we, to be honest with you, fully reverse and begin to moon, actually. But it all depends on this level, if this level can hold up. So if you look at it on the daily, we're starting to see some more bullish moves with these moving averages beginning to slant up, which is good. And if we look at the MACD, we're pretty bullish on that also. Having a bit of a the first little notch down for, I suppose, for a while. In fact, we've been moving up all this time, but looking like it might want to cool off a little bit. But I wouldn't be surprised if we find our way bouncing at the level that we're at now, so around 7,800, before we get to this level, finding little bounces, and it depends where it takes us. If by tonight or tomorrow or the next few days we take out the top of this candlestick here, which is basically 8,050, if we can take that out, then yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if in the coming week or two we would have gone basically bullish, and the bottom was almost certainly in at that point. But at the moment, this consolidation is pretty heavy. Now, because this was born the latter part of this bullish move was born out of that Iran conflict, possible war. What usually happens is things get overbought, massively overbought. Similar with oil, similar with gold, and you can see when the whole thing got cooled off, they all essentially crashed at the same time. I wouldn't call it crash, more of a massive pullback. So because of that, and because I used to trade commodities in the past, and what would almost always happen is that after a significant event which caused markets to pump, they always eventually fall back to their normal not planned, but their trajectory. Can't get my words out. Basically the trend and the path that they're on at the time. Now, at this moment, when this was about ready to fall back down again, the Iran business kicked off, and that launched us all the way up here, about a 25% move. We were coming down as a big red candle there. We did have a cross here, a conversion baseline cross, which usually means continuation of that move, which would have been up. And we were coming down. I thought that we were probably likely to come down and test this over the next few days, but we didn't. Iran happened, and this happened. So, does this mean that we will correct down to around 7,000 again? Possibly. I will say possibly. It all depends on this level holding out. If this level does break and we get a daily close beneath there, a candle body close that would be beneath there, then yeah, we'll be coming back down, probably testing this cloud on the way down and making our way back down to this level. Will we break sub 7,000 again? We'll have to see, because that's quite a long way down at this point. So it's just $1,800 down. That's quite a long way down at this point. If we do come down that far, it'll be a trickle down. It won't be a big red candle. I'll be very surprised if we see big red candles all the way down here. It'll be a trickle down, similar to what happened here when we had that big move here. We had sort of some big rejections clearly, and we trickled down, and then we did crash. Now, if we have a move like this, we will be down to my original expected absolute bottom level here, which is around 4,900. This is a very long way away at the moment. It's $4,000 away from where we are right now, but anything's possible. But if this happens, it's not going to be for a while. This was in the event that we didn't break out of this descending trend, which we have broken out of, so we're basically forming a new trend at the moment. That trend could actually be bullish, so it's difficult to say. But yeah, like I say, a clear rejection. Bulls and bears have had a scrap, and the bears have really got an upper hand at this level now. There's clearly a lot more longs than there are shorts when you look at the chart, but a lot of the time, that doesn't mean a great deal to me most of the time. I mean, I know that there's more than twice the amount of longs than there are shorts, but to me, doesn't often really tell you a great deal, doesn't really give you a significant edge over what's going on in this short term. If we're going to consolidate, we will consolidate, you know. Anyway, we'll move on from this, we'll move on to Matic. So like I say, we're in no man's land again. They would never trade within a cloud, very difficult place to trade in, and we're right in the middle of a cloud, so not really a tradable place. We've just got to wait for supports and resistance to give one way or another, and then we can decide which direction we're going, but never trade in the cloud, never. Anyway, let's move on to Matic. So Matic against Tether. What do we see here? We see flat as a pancake, no more movement. You could class this as consolidation still. Doesn't look to me like accumulation because we're technically beneath all moving averages basically, which is never really a good sign. But our price action is holding up relatively well. If you have a look at it on the Bitcoin pairing, it looks a little bit more bearish, and I would usually say, looking at this kind of pattern and this kind of setup, that we're likely to go down again. And if Bitcoin pumps, we will go down, and if we keep going down, we're going to get a death cross. But because everything's leveling out at such a slow pace here, you know, a death cross like that looks like it will take a very, very, very long time to form, when it's just a rough estimate of what that will take. So this isn't really much of a measurement, but you can try this one out. And I would probably say, where would this look if we were to be moving around in this level here? We've got all the way until the 1st of February before we see anything like a death cross on Sats levels. That's of course if this is the way that the chart's going to look. There could be all kinds of things happen to this, and if Bitcoin pumps, I don't think Matic's going to pump at the same speed, meaning Sats will go down, which means that 1st of February might be brought forward a little. But it's going to take, like I say, a while for that to happen. Once we get a death cross on the Sats, we'll probably get a death cross shortly after on the or maybe around about the same time actually, because they're converging quite close to each other. So actually, yeah, death crosses are coming, you know, within the next 3 weeks or so for Matic, if we can't break out of this sort of movement. Now, if you look at it and you look at it on daily chart, it does look like we forged what could be considered as bottoms here. We've got two bottoms, one there, one there. We bounced significantly, and since then the MACD has been slowly creeping up, slowly creeping up, but not actually looking overall bearish. RSI is doing exactly the same thing, just making higher highs and higher lows. So all of that actually looks quite good. If it wasn't for this inevitable death cross business, you know, I would say that there is a chance that Matic might pop, but it's not looking like it wants to pop anytime soon. But there are little clues to suggest that it does want to pop. Maybe if we get a little bit closer up to around this level or this level, if we haven't broken down by then, might be worth taking a risk on it. Now, I'm not a financial advisor, it's not financial advice. It would be a risk. It definitely would be a risk, because we're only going at that point on the RSI and the MACD, which, you know, you can't really just trade on two indicators like that, which essentially do the same thing. But, you know, looking at that, you know, that's what it would suggest on the daily, that if we do that, if we do get a bit close to that 0 point, then we could be into bullish territory. And knowing Matic could maybe even do a 50% move, maybe at least a 25% move. But again, it's a gamble really, because the rest of the chart looks bearish, so we don't really know what, when, or how much it will pump, if at all. It could quite easily dump. There's no reason why it wouldn't dump anyway, because it's bearish still. So pretty much that's all I have to say to wrap these boys up. Matic needs to stay around this level now and start to try and move above these moving averages. We need to get above 200 sats ideally, to avoid a death cross on the Satoshi levels, and on Tether we need to get above 1.66 cent bare minimum, and actually we need to do that reasonably soon, within a week and a half. I'd say give it 10 days. We kind of really need to do that, because we will be getting death crosses. But by the 1st of February, death crosses should have played out with both of these charts, with Bitcoin pairing and with Tether pairing, and it's not going to look nice. I wouldn't expect it to look good with Matic. We could be coming down to test these new local lows, or maybe even that actual 1 cent level, where I would expect to see a bounce. Probably expect to see a bounce around here, but a more significant bounce would be found around 1 cent. If we get that low, like I say, this is all, you know, 10 days to 2 weeks in the future before a specific bearish signal is triggered. So we don't really know where we're going. So as we've been speaking, Bitcoin's been moving up and moving down. That's kind of what I expect in this zone. We expect moves up, moves down, bounces, rejections, until it decides which way it wants to go. I'd be quite surprised, however, if we do come up to revisit this level here. More likely to be rejected from where the previous day's green candle was, which is roughly where the 200 EMA is. I've not got it set up on my computer here, but that's where the 200 EMA is. That's where we were rejected on that day. Now we kind of FOMO'd here, and maybe a bit of Iran crisis business going on here, but that's where I'd expect to see a rejection again if we were to make it up that high, 8,150 or thereabouts. And if we break down from this level, it'll start to get a little nasty. Anyway, I'll leave it with you there. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a nice evening, and take it easy.